and welcome to another episode of Worst Collection Ever. This is the show where we tell you about the worst comic book collection in existence, and it just happens to belong to us. I'm Jen.
I'm Sean.
And here we are, again.
Well, I mean, where else would we be? Yeah, thanks for being here, everybody. We're going to start a new book today. You guys are going to be looking forward to that.
Yep.
And we are going to have, I don't know, I'm distracted. I just bought a bunch of DVDs.
What'd you buy?
Well, I was on Facebook.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll get like ads being like, hey, fucking buy shit, right?
Yeah.
And HMV, which is like the music video store, like the like a media store that's based out of like UK and Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going out of business or something's going on there. So they had a bunch of like 4K, HD Blu-ray, whatever, for like $5, and it's like good stuff. So I bought like Event Horizon.
Oh wow, I love Event Horizon.
I bought the Batman Nolan trilogy.
Okay.
I bought the Hellraiser movies. I bought, and these are all $5, by the way. I bought the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I bought Rocky. I got First Blood and Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Wow.
I got a bunch of other horror stuff in there. There's a few other goodies in there too, and I took some stuff out, but I got the X-Men movies.
Oh wow.
So, and it's like, Independence Day.
Huh.
Yeah. My only concern is that they look like they're DVDs that you would get in different regions.
Oh, they might be.
But I think they're okay. But just to be safe, they give you a choice of a free gift. And it was either like a record player or a Blu-ray player. And I thought about getting the record player because I guess it comes with speakers or something like that. It looked nice, but I'm worried that I get those Blu-rays and I might not be able to play them on my PS5.
Oh yeah, that could be.
I don't want to have to come to that and spend all this money on these Blu-rays and then be like, they don't work. I don't know what these symbols mean, which I probably should.
Right.
But I'm assuming if the Blu-ray player is coming from the same place, it's got to be ones that play the actual Blu-rays. So
I would assume so.
And also too, using your video game system, like your Xbox or your PlayStation for your Blu-ray playing, your Blu-ray whatever, it wears out the laser.
Oh, okay.
So although this is coming from a person that has two other PlayStations, sitting right there.
Yes, you do. That is true.
But it's kind of a pain in the ass because, you have to go and I have to, hook that one up and whatever. And so I don't know what to figure something out.
Nice.
Because there was, because we got that and we have a VHS player that I don't think works.
No, I don't think it does either.
But we might be able to get it to work. I have faith in it.
I hope so because we have so many VHSs. I would like to, right now it ate my Legend tape.
It did. It really, it played it. And I even got a connector, like an actual proper connector, not like an video game upscaler, but a proper connector for the VHS, like the RCA cables to HD.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping to get that to work, but I want to make sure because here's the thing, the VCR was $10.
Yeah.
I bought it from a guy at a garage sale down the street. It was the first time I think in 30 years. I'm probably not lying.
Probably not.
25, 30 years that I went to a garage sale, like an honest to goodness garage sale, and found something that I actually felt was a very smart purchase.
Yes.
And a good purchase. And it's like, because it's always the same shit where you got people being like, man, if you go out to the garage sales in town, you can find all sorts of retro video games and action figures. You go into people's houses like, my son collected every G.I. Joe from 1982 to 1994. Do you want it for $100? Sure do.
Yeah, that never happens.
It doesn't happen. I was like, I was telling you, like, if it ever happens to me, I'm gonna write it right on like a line. It could be like a fucking penthouse letter.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I never thought this would happen to me.
Never thought it would happen to me.
But it was, I was with my wife, and we went to a garage sale, and these two women came up to us, ...
Then they were like, here's some G.I. Joe.
And they said, we have a complete 1982 to 1994 G.I. Joe collection. These two women.
My husband fell over dead, and I had to pick him up and take him back to the car after buying him the G.I. Joes, of course.
Buried him in the backyard.
Because he literally couldn't speak. He was frozen.
Yeah. So, that's very exciting. But yeah, so hopefully they'll get to work. Because we went to the archive here in Colorado over the weekend.
Yes, we did.
And, which is basically a brick and mortar Vinegar Syndrome store.
Right.
Because Vinegar Syndrome, I guess, uses this place.
They have this, and I think they have something in LA, don't they?
I thought they had something in LA. I know they have something in Connecticut.
It's convenient for shipping.
It is, because it's the relay, basically, in the middle of the country.
Yeah. We're technically west, but...
Yeah, we're more west.
But still, it's, I-70 and all that sort of shit, like, cuts right through us, so it's a pretty good shipping area.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they
Very
have something
convenient.
here, basically, that they ship West Coast stuff.
Yeah, but, I mean, the thing that's cool about this place is that, and I'm pretty sure, maybe we didn't talk about, because I feel like we've been going there, and we weren't doing the show. We were doing these episodes. So
I don't know. I don't know if we mentioned it before or not.
I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah.
But there's a store. You go to the store and they have just DVDs and all sorts of media.
Oh, all sorts of stuff.
Like it's all sorts of like they have a whole. But they really stocked up on the VHSs.
Yes.
And very impressive VHS selections. You got some bangers, you got some not so bangers, you got some wrestling.
You could say that of all of the DVD selections as well. Bangers, but also not.
Well, the thing is they specialize in
horror
and exploitation and like, genre films like sci-fi or whatever. Yeah. So they have a lot of that, but they, and a lot of the companies that stock those kind of movies. So they got this used section of just regular DVDs, and it's just so much random ass crap in there that you're just like, wow. This was, you'll find some gems. Like, you'll find some stuff in there that like it's out of print or whatever. And this time around, I bought a DVD from the movie called Ghost Town. As a Blu-ray, actually. It's an out of print Blu-ray from Scream Factory. And I was telling Jen that back in like 1988 or 89 or whatever this movie came out, I don't know how I heard about it. Maybe it was like going through TV Guide and finding out about it, or maybe seeing catching a promo somehow on Cinemax or whatever, and being like, "Dad, I really want to see this movie." And so my dad actually taped the movie for me.
Nice.
On VHS.
Back when you could do that.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like, and the thing of the premise of the movie is, I think it's basically about a guy fighting a zombie outlaw gang.
Cool.
And like the main zombie guy is like, he's got like no mouth, or he's kind of got like a Jonah Hex kind of thing going on.
Oh, okay.
Because he got shot through the mouth, like from the side.
Gross.
And it went out went through, but whatever. I'll have to watch that. I'm looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
For We Hate Movies, our I guess we call them like a distant cousin show.
I don't know if that works, but the show we listen to a lot.
We listen to a lot, but they're kind of, because Andrew and Steve have been on this program
a long time ago.
Very long time ago.
Yes.
They're doing X-Men, the original X-Men 2000.
Yeah.
This week, and so we watched it.
Which I hadn't seen it in so long.
Probably just as long, yeah.
Probably just as long, because I saw it in the theater, and I used to have it on VHS, but I obviously no longer do.
VHS.
Yes.
But I was watching it, and I think it's definitely better. I liked it a lot.
I like it a lot.
I thought it holds up.
I think it does.
I think it's basically like a lot of these movies, the X-Men movies they're Wolverine movies.
I know.
Which, understandably, Hugh Jackman.
He's so hot in these two first movies.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I forgot that scene where he's introduced, where he's in the cage.
Oh, yeah.
In the jeans, just smoking and drinking and fighting with no shirt on, with the hair. So fucking hot in that movie. And I was just like, oh, that's right. And and he looked like a normal dude. This is before his muscles had muscles.
Yeah, this is before he really started getting crazy.
He just looks like a guy who works out, not like a guy who works out 7 hours a day and eats chicken flavored with HGH. Like,
yeah, that's the kind of chicken he likes. Yeah.
I feel like that's what we get later on, but like in this first movie, he just looked like a regular dude who goes to the gym, and I was like, this is awesome.
He looks normal.
Yeah, he looks great.
But yeah, it's basically the Wolverine movie, but for good reason in some ways. There's a lot of ridiculousness in that movie, just because of Magneto's idea of using some sort of weird pulse, energy wave transmitter
to turn everybody into mutants. I like when the jelly guy.
Well, they turned that senator into jelly guy.
That's great.
And then he splashes everywhere and it's gross.
No, it's
a very moist and gross death for that guy.
He's so wet. It's so gross. He's like dripping.
Yeah, he's just leaking, and they made. I was telling you, they made an action figure of that guy in juicy form.
Gross.
So, for
can you
kids,
fill it up with water?
I don't know. They should have, but I think it was. I gotta look. I gotta find it. What exactly the deal is? I can't remember who he came with. He came with like another, either like Jean Grey or something like that. And when it was like, because some of those ones, like they have one where it's like Sabretooth, but then they give you a small security guard guy for him to beat up.
Nice.
They actually do some really cool ones. I'm kind of now getting itchy for those. So I'm like, well, how do I work that out? Yeah, that's very wild. But there's also just this fighting in the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's great.
It's pretty good. And I also was telling you too, and for all the big hubbub about getting Halle Berry to play Storm, she has absolutely nothing to do with that.
Which is such a shame.
It is a shame.
Because, and I can't really say if her performance would have been good or not because she didn't have anything to do. So I don't know if her actual performance would have been great, like if she had a ton to do.
Yeah.
But Storm is so fucking iconic.
Yeah.
And such an amazing character. And I was I do remember being disappointed that she wasn't the powerhouse that she is like in the comics and on the cartoon because it's fucking Storm and she's Storm.
Yeah. Between the few iterations of Storm that there's been on live action TV, because there's this
hasn't been great.
There's that, and then there's the girl that was in the Matthew Vaughn movies. So, and she's not bad. She gets to have the mohawk.
I know the mohawk's fucking cool.
She gets to have the mohawk, but but again, it doesn't. I don't know. That one she does better, but these other ones, like she's just there.
I know.
Halle Berry's just there.
It sucks so bad.
So yeah,
but they are Wolverine movies. Like we did watch X2.
Yeah, we watched X2 after that.
After that, which is also great.
X2 is so fucking good, though.
X2 is so fucking good, and honestly,
I remember seeing it in theaters and being like, ah,
I know, it was great.
My fucking mind.
I know,
and it just and I watched it today and the other night, and I was like, ah, like.
Well, that's the thing. I watched it,
fired up.
It is great. The next one's not great.
No.
X3, which we didn't watch.
What a fucking bummer.
Which is a total bummer. But I'm like watching the second one, and I'm just like, I've literally for 3 days been sitting here thinking about like, why didn't Jean Grey fuck Wolverine? Like she should have. Did she not see him? Does she not have?
But
I don't care.
She wanted Wiener James Marsden.
No, but you are looking at like Hugh Jackman at like the height of his powers.
Well, speaking of height, Jean Grey, played by Famke Janssen, is like twice as tall as Wolverine.
Well, that's fine. Wolverine's supposed to be short.
I don't.
He's supposed to be like 5'3". He's a little guy. Little hairy guy. That's all right. But I'm just like, girl, do it for all of us. And she didn't. And it was just very disappointing.
Do it for us.
Do it for us. She didn't.
Yeah, no,
but no, I mean, it's just great with like, Patrick Stewart just being such great casting and that, because I remember just even before these movies came out, like being in college and talking to friends of mine when we heard this was going to be made before, like they were talking about it. I was just like, all of us were like, well, obviously Patrick Stewart.
Well, that's
obviously
how it was
Patrick Stewart
in the Wizard magazine.
Yeah.
Like,
see, and I didn't read Wizard. This is just me talking to my friends.
Yeah, they would do the fan casting.
Yeah.
Or they would do they would cast a bunch of movies and they would put, they did X-Men obviously, and like they were like, it can't be anybody else but Patrick Stewart.
It has to be.
At this point.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, I know that James McAvoy wanted to play him, but obviously that was an older, a younger version of him.
I don't even like the younger version.
I'm okay with it.
From what I remember, I mean, it's fine, but it's not like, yes, this is what I want.
Oh yeah, Patrick Stewart's just the definitive thing, and him and Ian McKellen just got such great chemistry.
Oh yeah, I mean, Ian McKellen is fantastic.
Yeah,
he's a fantastic actor. He's so good, and just even like in the second one, where Stryker finds out about the mansion, just that scene where like Magneto tells Charles like that he told him, but because he was forced to, he's basically like,
he's being coerced into.
He looks heartbroken. Yeah. Like he looks so upset.
There's acting,
and there's an actor who can deliver. Yeah. And I'm just like, yes, give me this all day. Could you imagine
actors acting in comic book movies?
Actors acting. And not just surrounded by green screen shit.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some green screen, but like that plastic chair is fucking real.
Yeah.
Like clear.
Which, by the way, Magneto's plastic prison, not so bad.
I would love the plastic prison. I'd live in the plastic prison.
What crime do I have to commit to live? Do I have to steal BitTorrent X-Men 2000?
Yeah.
Back in 90.
Seriously, how can I
2006
I want to live in the cube. How can I live in the cube?
Is it about my cube?
I want it to be about my cube.
I do.
And then those
I want all the stuff plastic.
Yeah, I want it all see-through.
I want a plastic TV.
I want it all see-through, and I just want to live in my little plastic house. And those guards are just going to have to deal with whatever that means.
Can we get an addition on my plastic house? I need a plastic basketball court and a plastic...
Just like a clear... Everything's clear.
I have to fill that whole space with just like different little plastic things.
Yeah, and they're all clear.
And then everybody goes like, come on over. Come on. Check it out. Yeah. It's not so bad. I'm here for my rest of my life.
Clear chessboard, the whole thing.
Yeah, you can get some, maybe get some pizzas delivered, Those don't got metal in them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's gotta be careful.
I mean, unless Mystique like stabs it in the ass or whatever. Because that's what she did to that guy.
Yeah, she stabs that dude in the fucking ass with a bunch of fucking liquid metal. Or whatever, fucking shoves a T-1000 up his ass.
I know, and when that guy dies, it's awesome.
Oh, it's a great. But there are some great bloodless deaths in X2.
But that one's bloody.
But then there's some great bloody deaths in X2. And that guy, because that's the thing. It's like it's weird because it's bloody, but it's not super gory.
Yeah.
But it's still fucking terrifying because he's yanking out pieces of metal from that guy's body.
And he just
misting and then turns that into like little bullets and shit. He tears one of the like, little platforms. It's fine. That scene fucking rules.
It does.
That is one of my favorite fucking scenes. It's so
great.
Good.
It's fucking great. I love it.
Oh my god.
Sean's all hyped now.
All right. Well, we got to cool down. So what should we do?
I guess we should read a book.
I agree.
So which is the hottest Marvel character?
Iron Man.
Ant-Man. I can't decide between Professor X and Magneto, so both.
Loki.
Is Wolverine Marvel?
What about White Tiger?
What about White Tiger?
Doc Samson.
Doc who?
Star Fox.
That's a video game.
The girls go on a journey to determine every Marvel character's hotness in Ohatmu or Not, the official handbook of the Marvel Universe podcast you didn't know you wanted. Available on iTunes and at fireandwaterpodcast.com.
So what are we reading?
So this week, we're going to be reading something in connection to the Deadpool and Wolverine movie that comes out it's the same day this episode comes out.
Yes.
Friday. I don't have really any Deadpool books.
Yeah.
I was telling you this, like I have what we're reading from today, and I have the QVC purchase that my dad got in like 1993, and it was like came with a certificate of like authentication.
Oh, nice.
And he's like, you're not going to touch this book. You're not selling it. You're not doing anything. It was like
don't look at it.
It's like that and the Lady J on card G.I. Joe action figure that he kept in his underwear drawer. So we wouldn't get at it.
Yes.
Because
he didn't want you to open it.
Yeah, well, rightfully so. Rightfully so. He didn't want me to ruin it. But we're not doing that.
No, we're not.
We're doing Secret Defenders number 16 from June 1994. And the reason why we're doing this, we're only doing issues 16 and 17.
Yes.
Reason why we're doing it that way is because we have done issue 15
Okay.
in a previous episode back in 2021.
Okay.
And then we did issue 19 in earlier on, like 2016, 2017. So what you could do is you can listen to these two episodes and then you can listen to the previous one because it's up there. And you could kind of put them all together. Although the involvement from Deadpool is only in like
these
these 3 issues. So the one we already did, plus these next 2 that we're going to do.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I was like, how do we do this?
How do we tie it in?
Yeah. How do I tie it in? But I didn't want to just do like one issue, but I really wanted, again, I don't have a lot of Daredevil I can't Daredevil.
We talked about Daredevil last time. Deadpool.
I really got any Deadpool books.
Right.
So we worked that way. Could have just Wolverine, I guess, but
we could have done some Wolverine. That's true.
But I think Deadpool's more important there.
I think I would have just spent the whole time talking about like Hugh Jackman, and that's probably not what we want to do. I bet he smells great in that movie. He looks like he smells good.
What, in the new one?
No, in like the first one. Not when he's like fighting and punching, but like when he's like clean. He looks like he smells good.
Okay.
Like the forest.
Oh, he smells like pine.
Like pine, like whiskey, like cedar.
Ooh, yeah. Wolverine would have had a great if Wolverine was like selling shit, he'd have a good like Dr. Squatch beard oil.
Oh
sales,
yeah, 100%.
And he would be selling shit on podcasts, and he'd be so much money.
Yeah, because he's got that luscious hair.
You'd be a big fucking star.
Yeah.
He'd be on the Sklar Brothers.
Oh, absolutely.
He'd be talking about
absolutely.
CFL football. I don't know. It's so stupid. Anyway.
The CFL.
Yeah. So Daredevil God damn. I retire.
That's it. We're done.
That's it. I'm done.
All right. Bye.
So anyways, this is, number 16, Secret Defender. Secret Defender is basically a book where started out with Doctor Strange was like, hey, I kind of need some homies to help me do shit that normally I can't be involved with, but I will kind of hang out in. And so you got a few guys, like some hitters in there that would help him out for the first 15 or so issues or whatever. And then he kind of just gave it to Dr. Druid.
Right.
Dr. Druid, who I had to look up why we don't like him.
Do we not like Dr. Druid?
He's kind of I don't want to say he's problematic, but he's just kind of an asshole.
I mean, most comic book characters are kind of assholes.
Yeah, he's kind of an asshole.
If that's what you have to do to not, be an unpopular comic book character, there wouldn't be any popular ones.
Although I'll say this last thing because it's on my mind now. I want to make sure I say it. But
yeah.
So I was looking up what's going on with Dr. Druid, right? And because that's and you look at, because this trade, it's called Deadpool the Secret Defenders, by the way. And I've had this for a while, and it collects 15 issues 15 through 25. So Deadpool's only in 3 of these issues, but the back half of the Secret Defenders book is collected in this trade, up to the very end, because it ends in issue 25. And issue 25, it's get ready for Druid, the miniseries, and I'm like, that didn't come out, but turns out it did. And you know what happens to that miniseries and his own miniseries? You'll never guess. Damian Hellstorm shows up, kills Dr. Druid, sets his corpse on fire, and throws it in the garbage.
Like in a trash can?
I think it's actual trash.
Wow.
That's
intense.
I've never seen this book.
That's fucking
it was a Marvel Edge book, which means so it was 1995, so it could be, who the fuck knows where that ended up. And what comic book store, what back alley comic book store you had to go to.
Oh, yeah. That's one of those ones where it's like the video store where it's you have to go through the saloon doors to find the pornography.
Well, that was how
that's a comic book store with saloon doors. You have to go back there to find Marvel Edge.
Well, ironically enough, he was the comic book store that I used to go to in Buffalo, Flight into Fantasy, used to be the video store, but then they took it over as the comic book store. And I used to go in there, and they used to have a little stand full of the dirty books, your cherries, your heavy metals, your Omaha the Cat Dancers, all that shit. But Marvel Edge back in 95 was supposed to be like, because they decided to take all their books around then and just be like, okay, we're gonna kind of like silo them. So you're gonna have the X-Men and just kind of these kind of books, and you're gonna have the Avengers books, and then you're gonna have Marvel Edge, which is like Hulk and Punisher and anybody else we could fit in here.
Yes.
Marvel Knights 2 was another thing that came out of that. So the cover here is Secret Defenders, and we're introduced to a cool dude named Cadaver. It says from beyond the grave, it's Cadaver.
Yeah. I was like, I honestly, there was so much going on in this book that when we got to this guy, I was like, oh, that's right, he's on the cover.
Yeah, we got to throw that in there. It's kind of, it's like the Spider-Man 3. You got to throw all that shit in there because you know it's going to happen.
Yeah, but I totally forgot he was going to be in here until he popped up.
So he's got a sword, which is actually one of his ribs.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
It's a flaming bone sword.
There's a lot of people saying a lot of shit in this book that I'm just like, shh.
Yeah.
Shh.
He
no talking.
Cadaver looks like, if the best way I could describe it, he looks like the Eddie mascot from Iron Maiden.
Yes, he does. 100%.
He looks a lot like him. And so you got Deadpool on here, and you got Luke Cage in the background because they're here too. And they're like, whoa, look at that guy. We pick up on the last issue, which we did a previous episode on.
Yeah.
And they're in Chicago, and Luke Cage, Deadpool, and Shadowoman.
So, question about Shadowoman.
Sure.
Am I crazy? Obviously. But does she just look like a pink Spider-Woman? Okay. All right. I was like, am I misremembering what this costume looks like, or is she just pink Spider-Woman?
The Marvel Wiki
kind of magenta.
The Marvel Wiki entry for her basically says, trivia, her costume looks like Spider-Woman's.
100%. I saw her.
By that I mean Jessica Drew Spider-Woman.
Yes, and that's who I thought she was at first. And then I was like, wait, Shadowoman?
You'd be completely right to guess that.
Absolutely. She looks exactly like her, except her suit is kind of pink.
Yeah. And so we do learn a little bit about her in this book.
Yes. We'll get there.
But she's out here.
We're in a museum.
We're fighting in this museum. The story is called, so this is the second part of the Strange Changes storyline, which we were doing the second and third parts of because we already did the first one. Resurrection Tango is the proper title.
So we're in this museum.
Hold on, I give credit to the writers.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
Brevoort. I don't know if that's a long double O or short double O. And Mike Kantarovic are the writers, and Bill Wiley penciler.
Yes.
So there you go.
So we're in this museum, and there's the things in the museum are fighting them.
Yeah.
And so Luke Cage is there, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, and Deadpool are there. It looks like they've been hired by Doctor Druid to like help him.
Well, so what's going on here is there's this gal named Malachi.
She's a sorceress.
And she's trying to collect the
She wants the
pieces
stone.
of these. She wants the stone. Give me the
stone.
She wants the Mobius stone. The Mobius stone.
Give me the stone.
So she's looking for the stone. I guess in this art museum, there's like a sword that has a piece of this stone in it.
Yes.
So she's trying to get to that, but then she somehow got these monsters, these art monsters to fight the heroes.
So she could basically escape. And they're bitching because Dr. Druid's not there. Because he was supposed to be, but he's not.
Or is he?
Good question. But obviously Deadpool and Luke Cage are kind of bantering back and forth as Shadowoman tries to do whatever she's doing. And there's a lot of jokes about like, well, I take American Express and
because Luke Cage gotta get paid.
Well, yeah,
so does Deadpool.
That's why they're here. Because they got paid. That's the only reason they're here.
They're like it's like he had out their fists at like $50 now.
Right.
They're fighting and
but Dr. Druid is there.
Yeah.
He is invisible. He is pulling a John Cena.
He's right. He is.
You cannot see him. But he seems to be floating above everybody in this room.
Well, his gimmick is the reason why he's floating was he just kind of wants to like see how they're doing.
Yeah, he's like
I'm unobserved, so I might be able to discern the true nature of our peril. I'm like, I don't know. The peril is the Chinese sculpture exhibit is attacking Luke Cage.
Yeah.
That is what the problem is. It's Night at the Museum, but with gory monsters or some shit. I don't know.
And then, so eventually, they're fighting and they're not doing well. And it doesn't seem like they can hurt them, obviously, because they're not alive. But
they ain't got no souls.
They ain't got no souls. So he shows up. He like makes himself known and able to be perceived. And he's like, Shadowoman, just like do a whole shadow over this thing.
Yeah.
Like everything. Because once that happens, they will
once
go
it happens,
back to being inanimate.
Well, I
don't know why.
He says that once Shadowoman does her deal, they're able to determine that these are just illusions.
Solid illusions.
Illusions.
I'm like,
and so they just dissipate into smoke.
Could there be a solid illusion?
Sure.
Okay.
And so they dissipate into like smoke and like Daredevil. Why do I keep saying his name?
I don't know.
I'm getting really mad at myself.
You're trying to invoke him.
I know.
You're saying Daredevil in hopes that he will just appear.
But Deadpool makes a Cheech and Chong joke.
He does, because there's a lot of smoke. Deadpool's making jokes. And then, so obviously the security guards are going to come in and Dr. Druid's like, all right, I'm going to take us away from here. Basically teleports them like a Star Trek episode.
Well, yeah, he says like, he goes, I'm going to take you back to my pad.
So he like zaps them to his house. But before we get there, we check in with Malachi, who is in her lair. And she's like, I am gathering all the pieces of the stone and I am going to put them together. And then you, statue love person, you will live again and our love will be forever.
Yeah, she's trying to resurrect her boyfriend. What's this guy's name? Starts with a K.
Corn?
Corn? Yes.
Because it starts with a K.
Coran.
He's just gonna
Yeah, it'd be funny if he comes back from the dead and he's like
It's just he's dressed like Jonathan Davis.
Oh no, he's become the bad core.
Cursed upon this world.
Yeah, so she kind of gives this origin story about them. They were like two like young sorceress, young magic people, and they wanted to get.
And it's always like this: our love is so much more intense than any other love that has ever loved.
Well, they wanted to get a hold of the stone because they wanted to like become immortal.
Yes, because their passion was so intense.
It's like if they could be together forever, that's the real sauce right there.
Sure.
So they're trying to get the Mobius stone from Agamotto.
Yes.
But there was a guardian there of Agamotto's, and
he killed Coran.
Yeah, he killed
Corin, or whatever his name is. And in doing this, the stone splintered into all these pieces and like shot out across the world. But this guy gives her the piece of the stone because it will make her immortal.
Yeah.
So I guess she's just been wandering around for a really long time looking for these stones.
I just think it's funny because they're kind of in this flashback. They're kind of just casually walking, like they're going to the mall to buy like some pots from Williams-Sonoma.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I gotta go stop by
the stone and make us immortal.
Gotta go stop by the Apple store, and then I want to go to Williams and Sonoma, and then Bath and Body Works.
Fit me in.
Bath and Body Works, because they got that Halloween stuff.
Oh yeah, and then maybe what? Let's stop by. Have lunch at Johnny Rockets.
Yeah.
Let's see if the guardian of the Agamotto stone wants to come. Hey, you want to come with us? We'll get some shakies.
Bath and Body Works does have their Halloween stuff.
Oh yeah.
And there is like a hearse thing.
But it's also soap?
Well, it like holds a candle. And there's also a dancing skeleton that holds a candle. The hearse, though, is like $129.
To hold soap?
No, it holds a candle, one of their 3-wick candles. But it's like huge and big and lights up and stuff. And it's really cool. And it's like a hearse that like horses would pull. Yeah. It's really fucking cool. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
So
I'm already buying Halloween shit. Just it's fucking July.
As you should. I mean, if they put it out, you should buy it.
That's the thing. Home Goods already has it, man.
They get back to Doctor Druid's place in Boston. He's based in Boston. That's right. And Doctor Druid's like, all right, I'm gonna go and do some preparations or something.
Sure.
And don't touch anything until Daredevil immediately starts touching stuff.
Well, yeah.
I did it again. What the fuck, man? This is upsetting me. Do I have a disease?
Could you just say red guy?
No, I know who this person is.
I don't know because the last 5 times we've sat down to do this, we've talked about Daredevil.
Deadpool.
And today we were talking about Deadpool.
Deadpool.
And they're both Marvel dudes who wear red suits. So
sure. Yeah,
and their names start with D.
But I'm starting to get like really anxious about this. It's starting to bother me. I'm like,
oh no,
is there something wrong with me?
Yes, yes, there is.
Yes, there is. But Deadpool starts touching things, and in the meantime, Luke Cage is like, "Yo, what's the deal with Doctor Druid? Like, because you're
she's like,
together.
Hey, Shadowoman, why are you hanging out with this guy?" And she's like, "Well,
are you able to explain this?"
So he's my boyfriend, or we used to be in love, but I don't know if they still are. Doesn't really matter because basically she went because she likes mystical shit, and she went to listen to him speak when he was at her college giving a lecture. And she was like, I immediately felt like it was just him and me in this room. And then I went up to him and he like I beamed me or something.
Yeah, he did some sort of like psychic like link thing into so he said eye to eyes. Basically looks like a bunch of like pepper.
It looks like Superman's eye lasers going into somebody else's eyeballs, except they're yellow. And then she was like, and that's when we found out that we had been together in a past life.
Yes.
And we have been reincarnated now.
Because there was a couple in the time of King Arthur where there was a Celtic alchemist and an English noblewoman. They were in love.
Yes.
But it was forbidden love because
he was a pagan.
He was a pagan.
She's a Christian.
And she was a Christian.
So they killed him.
They killed him. But he was like, but I will find my wife, or find my love.
I will find her forever. And so I think it's Is it Deadpool says like you were a princess?
Well, we'll get there.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
We got to understand too how she gets her powers, because
that's right.
Because now what happens is she's like
in the present day.
Yeah, in the present, her Doctor Druid are like kicking it.
He has to do a thing.
He's trying to get like artifact. He's trying to be like Indiana Jones or something and get like some arcane artifacts. And she's like, I'm going with you. And he's like, don't. And then she goes and accidentally like lets loose a demon that kills her.
Oh, how many of us haven't been there?
It happens all the time.
I mean, you're like, oh, I'm in this random place and now I've summoned a demon.
Yeah, it kills her and
it like goes through her but she's dead for a minute, and then when she comes back, she has the shadow power.
Yeah, it didn't kill her; it just gave her shadow powers.
Yes,
and
she gets a costume later.
She decided to become,
which I'm assuming she just like went to Spider-Woman's closet and she's like, stole it.
So which one of these are you not using?
Yeah. Oh, you don't like the pink one? I'll take it.
Well, it's funny. I like the way she just says the costume. She's like, the costume came later. It just seemed to feel right. So. At one point, she was like, "I'm just gonna not like wear a costume," but then she went to Spider-Woman's garage sale and bought, and she was like, "Hey, you know what? This is the right price. Time to dress up.
$10, sweet.
$10, and I get a free DVD player.
Oh, nice. Maybe it was like when we were reading the Batman, the Legends of the Dark Knight, when he was just like wandering around wearing a fucking fedora and a duster.
Oh yeah,
a trench coat.
Yeah, she tried. She thought about trying that out first.
She did. She was like, everybody needs to steal the Question's look.
You gotta go from the Question, and then you have to go superhero garage sales. She's the one that knows where the shit is at the garage sales. That's how she's the one that gets those deals.
She's thrifting.
She is. That's a superhero thrifting.
She's absolutely superhero thrifting. She is the girl who knows.
Actually, that'd be a great random ass like shitball Disney Plus series called like Marvel Heroes Be Thrifting or something.
Marvel Garage,
yeah.
And it's just Marvel Garage sales.
Marvel Pawn Shop, you know.
Oh, is it like Pawn Stars or like superheroes?
Yes.
Oh, yes. There you go.
Oh my God, I have. There's too much of that stuff I could be sitting here trying to think of, so I'm not going to do that. But I'm just going to put that out there and hope that it comes to fruition.
All right.
So, yeah, and this is where you're saying.
One of them, and I don't remember.
It's Deadpool.
It's Deadpool. He's like, so you were a princess? And she's like, nope. I was the alchemist.
I was the dude.
And he was the lady in previous lives.
Uh-huh.
Because these are obviously just skin vessels that we exist in.
Just flesh.
Fleshy vessels.
Yeah.
Basically like driving him around like that alien in Men in Black. Just that little alien thing.
They're having this conversation here. Dr. Druid comes back. He tells Deadpool to put down his pregnant lady statue.
Oh, that's right. He has a random pregnant lady statue.
Yes.
I thought it was a Barbie at first, then I was like, oh wait, no, it's a statue.
It's pregnant Barbie.
There was pregnant Barbie at one time.
No, he has the one. He's the one that has it.
He's the one who has it because
he's like Will Smithers.
It got discontinued.
He's got a bunch of discontinued Barbies in his.
He's like, we can't have it because she didn't have a wedding ring on, and the conservatives lost their mind because that meant she was pregnant without being married. And I'm like, what if her fingers just swelled up? She couldn't wear it because that's what happens when you get pregnant.
Dr. Druid also too is just like, hey, you know what? None of this was my doing. This girl, she did this on her own. He just kind of like throws shade at her.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he's a dick. Because the thing about him is the reason why people don't like him primarily is because he joined the Avengers in like the mid 80s, late 80s or whatever. And he was really shitty to like Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau.
Yeah.
So, and to the point where he got like manipulated because he was really, you can think about Dr. Druid. He was like he's kind of like Doctor Strange, but before the accident, but also a wizard. So, he's like into like partying and women.
But also not the same magic.
Not quite, no.
Because he doesn't do the thing.
He does, yeah. He does some, I forget what kind of magic he does. It's like druidism, apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently something completely different.
Yes.
But he has that, he's kind of like into like, he's really into like ladies and booze. But he's also a wizard.
Fair.
And so one of Kang the Conqueror's ladies, one of his crew, seduced him and got him into a position to manipulate himself into the leader of the Avengers and kind of fuck them over.
Mm-hmm.
So people were kind of like, that guy sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now this is kind of like his comeback tour, but since it's in Secret Defenders, nobody read it.
Fair.
So anyways, we jump finally we jump to Seattle.
Yes, and
where the next part of our story continues, because what's going on in Seattle is that there's a tomb where somebody has another piece of the stone. Keep that in mind.
Yes.
But we hook up with a Seattle, Washington cemetery.
Well, it does say that, hey, just FYI, I know everybody thinks that only young people live in Seattle, but no, old people live there too, or did, because now they're all dead.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, of course older people live there.
Yeah, that's every city.
I know. I'm like, why are you talking about?
Yeah, was it popular culture would have you believe the inhabitants of this fair city are all young, hip, and trendy? Guess again. And it's like, you just got like some, and we just jumped to like 3 dumb kids in a graveyard.
I mean, as they should be. That's the place to be.
Yeah.
You want to hang out in a graveyard, especially because it looks like it's misty. And it's night.
They should be.
This is great.
There should be a boombox there playing some Soundgarden.
Sure.
That's what I need here.
Or if they really, really, really want to go for it, it should be playing Joy Division.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And
so they're all sitting there, and they're like 3 of them, and they're talking about like, what do you think happens when you die? And this one guy's like, nothing. Like, you're just dead.
Yeah, Cody, who's our fellows, can become cadaver. Cody's just like, yeah, nothing happens when you die. And which I think he's right.
Yeah, I do too, unfortunately. I love the whole reincarnation thing that they were talking about before to be what happens. Like, you just like live another life and be like, oh, now I'm I don't know, super hot so-and-so who lives in the New Zealand.
Oh, man.
That'd be fucking great.
I could be reincarnated as a hot New Zealander?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Where can I sign up for that?
I know, that's what I'm saying. Can I get on the list for that? That's what I'm saying. And then that's what I do, and I'm just like that, but I think you probably just nothing happens.
Yeah.
I'd like the reincarnation.
So Malachi pops up in the cemetery.
And she's old.
And yeah, she's old. I do like these kids.
Being like, hey, Cody's your mom.
Well, like, yeah, that part's funny. But so the one kid's like, hey, who is that? Like, I hope it's not this guy, whoever carries. Like, he kicked my butt up and down this joint last week. So apparently, people
are fighting in cemeteries.
Last week there was a cemetery brawl, and this kids
don't know how to cemetery.
We're just getting their asses kicked at a cemetery.
No, cemeteries are hollowed ground. You're not supposed to fight in cemeteries, even if you're not a Highlander.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, you don't know how to cemetery correctly if you're fighting in a cemetery. It's for just hanging.
Seattle,
you fight in the parking lot.
I don't know, man. Seattle, all bets are off, man. It's a night in Seattle, man.
You're right. You're right.
We didn't.
Chris Cornell's just walking around without a shirt somewhere right now.
Yeah. Speaking of beautiful.
No shit.
Can I be reincarnated as a Chris Cornell Jr.?
Yeah, can I be reincarnated as Chris Cornell in 1993? Because that'd be fucking sweet.
Oh, man, can I go back? Yeah, can I go back in time and live Chris Cornell's life in an alternate timeline? And then
be Chris Cornell?
Where I live a full life? Like, I know he
unfortunately has left, yes.
But, I think he accidentally OD'd.
I think because they were saying, like, he was, like, in a really good mood and everything. I think he did. Like, a lot of times when people decide to take their own life, they are happy because they've made a decision, and I think that's what they said.
Sad.
It is sad.
But I want to live in the alternate reality where Chris Cornell doesn't do that. But I want to become that body, and then I could and then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, look at me.
I'm fucking Chris Cornell.
I look in the mirror. Or maybe I think I would be born Chris Cornell.
Well, yeah, you would have to be.
But then I'd eventually be like looking in the mirror, like, wow, look at my hair. Yeah,
my hair's fucking sweet. I also have the best voice possible because I have said this a billion times, but if I was a dude and I was a singer, I would want to sound like Chris Cornell because he just has the best voice.
Agreed.
And I would be thrilled to come back as Chris Cornell in 1993.
Agreed. So, yeah, but this is when this woman shows up. And, like, this one kid's just like, hey, Cody, it's your mom.
Which is really funny.
It's like a joke of Beavis and Butthead where it's like, 100%. Hey, Beavis, that's your dad.
I forgot how many Beavis's mom's a slut jokes there are in Beavis and Butthead.
Hey, Beavis, is that your mom? She's a slut.
Yeah. So this Malachite jumps over to this guy and grabs him and like kisses him because she
already hears like a bit of the conversation that they had because she's like, hey, come here and find out what death's like. And he's like, ah. Yeah. And so she
kisses him and like takes all of his energy and becomes young.
She does the same thing that the guy, Dr. Druid, did with the eyes, but just through the mouth.
Yeah. Well, she kisses him. She's like, sucks his soul. She's like a succubus. She sucks his energy through his mouth.
She basically does. This is basically the premise of the movie Life Force.
Have I seen Life Force?
You might have.
Meh.
I've watched it. It's a Tobe Hooper movie where there's space vampires.
Oh, nice.
And the main and Patrick Stewart's in it.
Oh, okay.
And the main lady vampire is this woman who walks around nude, completely nude.
The whole movie?
Pretty much the whole movie.
Nice.
And it's like a British movie, so it's like it's England, so whatever.
They're much more laid back about that.
Yeah, she's just fucking nude. I remember Gilbert Gottfried talking about it. It's like, that's my favorite movie. This woman is nude. I mean, look, I'll tell you, man. Not enough people know about that movie because if you are and you're watching it, you're like, holy fucking shit, because you're not you ain't ready
for the amount of nudity
for the amount of just casual nudity in this woman who's just like, because she just goes up to dudes and does basically this, and they look exactly like this kid's corpse afterwards, all really like not really like a skeleton, but kind of like desiccated.
Yeah, he looks like the zombie guy in Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, so that happens, and then just at that time, the secret defenders show up, and they're like, Dr. Druid's like, make sure she doesn't get to that deal.
Yeah.
We don't.
It's like a crypt or something.
The crypt where the stone is. We don't want to let her get there.
But she gets there.
And so she shoots a bunch of polka dots at them.
Nice. As one does.
I guess that's the thing.
And she gets to the crypt.
She gets to the crypt and she starts doing tornadoes, and she turns all the monuments into living
oh, yeah. She does the same thing again.
Which at one point, it looks like Luke Cage is wearing one as like a backpack.
Yeah.
It's really, it's weird. And so there's a lot of quips. Daredevil or Deadpool.
Now it's just funny.
I'm gonna jump out a fucking window.
Now we're on the ground floor.
Well, I'm gonna jump through the ground floor window. I can't take it. What is wrong with me? Deadpool's got all those quips. He even does like a riff on the Roddy Piper. I'm here to kick ass, chew bubblegum.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Quipping about having, he wish he had like a real contract from his guy Tolliver, who doesn't have all these mystic things going on, so he gives him real work. Yeah,
I mean, because he's got all the guns and he's like shooting at stuff, and I assume if they're just statue illusion things, they don't really die.
Yeah.
Or get stopped. I don't know, whatever. So that happens, but she gets to the crypt.
Well, she gets to the crypt, but the Shadowoman uses she kind of slips away because she's in her shadow, and Malachi gets to the crypt, but then Shadowwoman's there. Shadowwoman looking like is this picture right here?
Yeah,
she looks like Spider-Woman, but with Starfire's hair.
Yes, it's very big.
It's very big.
Well, it's Seattle. It might be very humid.
Oh yeah.
It's just puffy. It happens.
She got the second best hair in Seattle that day because Chris Cornell.
Well, Chris Cornell's there.
Chris Cornell had the best.
He always has the best.
Who wore it best?
It's always Chris Cornell.
Malachi blasts her. She calls her an ignorant wretch. She's about to put this on or do the deal with it,
like make the stone whole, I guess.
But now here's the thing that I don't quite understand. She is about to do this, but then a bunch of energy shoots out of this mausoleum, and
I think
imbues itself into Cody.
So this is what I think. I think it's doing the same thing that it did when they died when her boyfriend died. It is taking just any form to be like a guardian for this.
Okay,
that's my guess, because that's what I'm assuming here. So the stone is like, hey, need a guardian.
Well, he goes because the cadaver, who's now cadaver, wakes up and he's like, "Who disturbed my slumber? I'm here to fuck shit up." And
lots of talking.
Everybody, and then of course, Deadpool makes the requisite George Romero joke.
Of course,
this is where Cadaver is like, right off the bat, he's like, "This is what I do. I will fashion a weapon from my rib," and he pulls out a flaming bone sword,
which is pretty sweet,
which is fucking cool.
I love it.
Why is this not in some sort of Werewolf by Night sequel thing? You could have this guy show up.
Absolutely. That'd be freaking sweet. And he's pulling freaking bone swords out. That's cool.
Yeah, man.
Flaming bone swords. Even better.
Also, he's like a fucking teenager kid. So you could kind of be like a Spider-Man, but he's a zombie and he pulls out his rib and he's a bone sword. It sounds like such a stupid fever dream,
It's great.
But it's so cool.
It is cool. But then we also have, is this the part where Dr. Druid is talking to what's-her-face? To Malachi, and he's like, "No, you don't understand. Like, if you do this, like you're going to eliminate all of humanity because you can't handle the energy that's in this stone or whatever." I think this is before she, pulls it out, and then what's his face shows up.
Yeah, Trevor breaks in. He kind of then all of a sudden gets like realization that he's actually this kid.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like this kid's like, "Wait a second, I'm dead and I'm a zombie." But not. So, yeah, I don't exactly know why that happens at this point. Maybe there's just some sort of, he's too freshly dead. I don't know.
I don't know the rules, but maybe because we wanted to make it some sort of fun thing where you had, because it was probably the premise is like, well, if you had a teenager, but he was a zombie and he was a hero.
And then he knows that there's something after death.
Yeah, he knows what death is like, man. And then they fucking high-fived each other and shit. Yeah, no, that's what happened. But then the stone becomes whole. Malachi, looking very buff in this photo here.
I will say that that picture at the very top left there, her proportions are crazy. Like her torso.
Are you talking about this one here?
Yes, her torso is.
She's like Brigitte Nielsen here.
No, not only that, but it's like her torso's so unnaturally large, like long.
Yeah.
And her head is tiny.
Well, just in this one, this final shot here, she is like.
That's a Brigitte Nielsen.
She looks like a truck.
She does.
I mean, and I'm not being in
the best way, yeah.
In the best way possible. She looks like she's like fucking her and Grace Jones are going to go for the women's tag titles.
100%. That'd be fucking cool.
Which actually I approve.
What was that movie that she was in?
Vamp?
Yes.
Well, that's where she's the vampire.
Yes, that's where and she's painted.
Yeah. I need to see that movie.
That's fucking cool.
I need to see that movie.
Yeah, there was actually, I don't think it was this season of Drag Race, but there was a season of Drag Race that somebody did an outfit. I think it was last season.
Oh, really?
That was a send up of that.
I see. Respect.
It was really cool.
Good cut.
It was really great. And like the minute she walked out on the runway, RuPaul was like, nice.
Yeah, RuPaul was around with that because
RuPaul knew. And then there was another queen who did something where RuPaul's like, there's a band called like Sig Sauer.
Sig Sauer.
No, it's a punk band and it starts with an S and it's like.
Oh, I don't know. You have to tell me the title.
Yeah.
But anyways, this is all happening.
Yeah.
So she goes for
Sig Sputnik.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that actually.
Yeah, it's like some punk band, and somebody else did something, and Rue was like, "That's who that is."
So she unleashes a bunch of polka dots again.
Yep.
And Doctor Druid is like, "Oh shit! The very fabric of time itself is being unraveled because these stones are together. Watch the fuck out."
Yeah.
I also want to point out real quick in this last picture here, the way that Cadaver's drawn back here, looks like he's wearing a puffy shirt.
It does. I mean, he might as well be.
He might as well be. But anyway, yeah, but that's how this ends. Next issue, Time for Every Purpose Under Heaven, which isn't that in
It's just from a song. Yeah, it's from that turn song.
Yeah, okay, so we're quoting the Birds.
Yep.
And that is issue Secret Defenders issue number 16 from June 1994.
Yeah.
Where do you think where do you think we're headed? Because I've never read this next issue.
That's a really good question. I mean, if Deadpool leaves after this next issue, then I'm assuming we are somehow like defeating her at least. Because I don't think, I don't know.
Well, most likely, yes.
Most likely. I don't know. It's really hard to say. I'm assuming all will be well. And Deadpool will go find something to shoot.
Yeah, he's going to, Deadpool's going to be a part of this next issue. And hopefully we'll get a chance to see the movie next week. And
yes, I hope so, because this is we're doing this on Monday night.
Yeah.
Movie doesn't come out till Thursday night, Friday.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's gonna be it for this week's show. Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Angry Hero Sean.
And I'm at Jen Stansfield on the things.
And you can also find us on YouTube. Angry Hero 79 is my YouTube channel. You can find a playlist of all of our episodes that are being uploaded, and you can subscribe to that playlist and get the new episodes every week as they come up. And then you could also check us out, your worst collection ever at gmail.com.
Yes.
Send us emails. Actually, did I tell you about the person that emailed us about Spider-Woman villains?
No.
Here, I'll tell you. I'll just read this real quick.
Oh, it was Nymphia. Sorry. It was Nymphia Wind who did that look. So here it is. It's that.
Okay, yeah. See, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah. No, she just did this look, I think last season of Drag Race.
Let me just read this real quick because I want to make sure we get this right. And we're running like really long here. Our friend, I guess I'm like Arden, I'll just use their first name.
Sure.
Says, Jen and Sean, if you've never found them, I would recommend picking up Bronze Age Spider-Woman issues. If you come across them, you get such heavyweights as Turter B Century, Daddy Longlegs, and Gypsy Moth.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because I think they heard us talking about the Turter D Century.
Oh, man. We gotta find some of those. I don't know if I've ever looked for Bronze Age Spider-Woman before.
Yeah, maybe that's a part.
That's something we should check out.
Good collections actually, too. But thank you, Arden. And we'll we're gonna
have to check that out.
Yeah. So, but anyways, enjoy yourself. Rate and review anywhere you get this podcast, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.